Yo,
Oh man, how's it going?
nothing much, man.
Yeah, you know what it is today. Another day of a discussion
One
about One
Piece.
Piece. Yeah, One Piece,
Yeah.
One Piece.
What chapter are we on
And
now, Horsley?
chapter 1097, my friend.
Right. 109. Yeah. It's been this chapter, though. It's nothing major happened. That's for my understanding, isn't it?
No,
It's just more of
do you know
a,
what? Do you
it's
know
more
what
of
it
a
is?
law kind of.
I feel like something major did happen. But it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of toned down because of last week's chapter.
Yeah.
Like last week's chapter was like so hype to the point
Oh,
where
definitely. Yeah, last week's chapter was hype. Yeah, don't get me wrong. That was hype. But yeah. It's kind of it's like basically this chapter is more about the math of what happened after of that chapter, and it goes into the future a bit more, doesn't it?
yeah, you know. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I still consider this an important factor to the story. Because now we're focusing because this was always going to be Kuma's backstory. It wasn't going to be about God Valley. It was strictly focusing on Kuma's backstory, what he went through, how he became the tyrant Bartholomew Kuma. You know,
yeah.
so again,
It's a
the reason
backstory chapter,
why,
man. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the reason why it's not as you say, it's because it didn't surpass in the levels of last week's chapter, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. But
it's
you
an
know what?
important, it's
Sometimes
an
it's
important story,
okay.
but
Yeah, but sometimes you go first. You go first.
no, I'm just saying it's an important story overall.
Yeah,
But in terms of hype, it doesn't
it
reach the
wasn't.
levels of
Yeah, yeah.
1096.
Yeah, but I think yeah. But I think like you got to have those chapters sometimes where you can't have like hype after hype. You have to die down a bit, and then bam, it hits you back.
Yeah, I know. It does, it really does. So yeah, let's begin.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the chapter. And
yeah,
it seems like in this chapter, this is 8 years into the future
yeah.
after
Cuba.
after God Valley.
Yeah,
Hmm.
are they what?
And
Cuba's a pastor there, isn't it? A pastor, or priest, or one of those ones.
yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he became a pastor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah,
something. Yeah, and
you know,
he's healing the old folk in that island, basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Then
Mind you, he's
yeah.
only 17 and he's doing this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's still a
17.
kid.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
8 years
he's still a
after.
kid.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
crazy though,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's
But it's
like,
like
no, go on, go on.
yeah, for a 17-year-old, man, he still has that kind heart in himself. Like when you later find out in the chapter why what he does with his powers, it's like, oh man,
Yeah,
he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
yeah. That's what we're gonna get to that part, man, because I do want to
Yeah,
talk about that. We're gonna get to that. But it's like right now he's on a small. Seems like he's on that island. I think it was what I can't remember what island it was. I'd have to go into it. We'd have to go into it to remember. But he's gone back to his original island where he grew up with Ginny,
yeah,
and as you can see, he became a pastor over there. And he's healing elderly people. Elderly people that have like come with like it seems
yeah.
like back have problems with their bodies, obviously because they're getting old, isn't it? So it's only
Again, yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's only necessary that they come over to Kuma and then get well, he could just pretty much just absorb all of their pain and inflict it somewhere else, just take it out of their body, their system, and just poof, it's gone. Send it elsewhere. You know,
yeah, yeah.
but that,
And Ginny's like 21, though, isn't it? Yeah,
but then obviously when I said he sends it elsewhere, we're gonna find out where he sends it to. As we go deep into the story. You know,
Yeah.
obviously Ginny's not impressed because I feel like, you know, she thinks that they're just using him for the fact that he's got this devil fruit that's able to get rid of all sorts of pain. You know, taking advantage of him. You know, assuming that
Yeah, but
he's like a
like,
doctor.
yeah, but like, even old people, like, if you read late into the chapter, they're like, look, even if we had the money to pay you, it's kind of rough because of the king that lives there, innit?
Yeah, yeah. You know, the king, the dastardly king. Oh man, I can't say what I'm gonna say, but hey, let's continue. But yeah, the king is he's someone we don't know much about. You know, I'll be real. But from this
Yeah,
chapter, it
yeah.
seems like he cares only for the rich.
And
He doesn't care about.
yeah, and he's proper like he's proper into the like celestial dragons who do what they say and stuff like that
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, so
It's pretty
he doesn't
much
care about it. Yeah,
every royalty that's out there. Like said, I wouldn't say every royalty, but like majority of the royalty that bend over to those celestial dragons. You
yeah,
know. Um. So yeah, as you said, you know, Ginny's been introduced at the age of 21 now, as because 8 years later have gone by. She's an adult now. You know, she's annoyed that the elderly people are coming continuously using Kuma just so he can heal them. You know, you've even stated that they've had the money, they pay him, but they don't because times are rough in that situation.
yeah. But you
You
find
know,
out a reason, like in the chapter, you find out like if reading further into the chapter, you find out why Ginny's a bit annoyed. Is what he does with that pain. And,
yeah,
like, that's why I was like,
that's what I was gonna mention. And as we go down
yeah,
deep, you know, right now it seems like the king, his name is King Bekoru or Bekori, if that's how you pronounce it. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, Bikuri. Oh yeah, sounds
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, continues to demand from the sick people so that he can pay the heavenly tribute. So I'm assuming the heavenly tribute must be the celestial dragons, right? The guys on the marijuana. So every
He,
time he like, in some sense, you can say he's taxing them a lot of money, and then he's giving away that money. He's sending that money, sorry, to the celestial dragons. I mean, that's what I think.
what the heavy, you think that's what the heavy contribute is?
Yeah, I
No,
think that's what's happening. You know, because I'll be real, like in this day and age, yeah, One Piece, there's a lot of greed in the series, but
yeah,
this guy seems to be bending over the Celestial Dragons. I don't know why he's bending over the Celestial Dragons, but obviously they've already stated that he's a cold-blooded king. He'll do anything to squeeze out every dime, every worth of money that these poor people have, so he can give it to whoever is above him. Obviously,
yeah,
some of them are for himself, but it's like, if I had to describe something, let me tell you something. You know, the this is my theory. All right, this is what I'm gonna say. My theory is sometimes royalty who aren't on the level of celestial dragons,
yeah,
as I just told you right now, they bend the knee, they bend forward to, I don't know if it's a way to suck up to the celestial dragons, gain their respect, but my guess is this. This is my guess.
yeah,
My guess is that they accumulate as much money as they can to try
yeah,
buy their way inside to try buy their way inside the celestial dragons, basically to try become a celestial dragons themselves. If you know what I mean.
yeah. Can
It's
you
like
become a
accumulate.
celestial dragon like that though?
I don't know, but it's like, yeah, that is true because this is my guess exactly because I
Yeah,
don't know if you can become a celestial dragons, but put it this way: if
yeah,
me, I'm gonna put it in a way that me and you can understand, right?
okay, yeah,
If let's just say we've worked for a company, me and you, we work for a
yeah,
company, right? And
yeah,
both of us started in a lower position, but
Yeah.
then I ended up receiving a lot of money, and that money, I thought to myself, hang on, in order for me to get to a higher position, let me pay my way to these bosses that are above me, so that I can
Yeah.
buy myself into their position and then become one of them. Do you get me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Right.
understand now. Yeah.
So,
That's what you think
that's
the
my
king was doing then. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's my theory. In the One Piece world, royalty tends to always buy over just so they can become something that they ain't. You know.
But it's
But
like, do you think the celestial dragons like promised him that, oh yeah, if you treat us well, blah blah blah, we might consider you a celestial dragon as well, or it's just,
that's another
or
exactly.
it,
That's another thing.
or do you
Because
think
sometimes
like, yeah,
sometimes celestial dragons we've just figured out they lie. Back in the previous chapter we found out that they've told they were assassinating on the island just for the game that they were playing. That certain people
yeah,
escaped the island when realistically no one else was escaping the island. So for you to say that they've promised these royalty that they could become a celestial dragon, it's also possible that they're lying to them. And these royalties that have been thinking, oh, if this is the case, I have as much money as I can pour and send them over to you,
yeah.
and then eventually figure out that they've been lied to and it was not part of the, you know, because now this has just brought me something. This brought back a memory, yes, right?
Yeah,
I brought back a memory. Now I remember something.
yeah,
Do you let me tell you something, because this is a long time ago. This episode was a long time ago. This was during the when the arc, when I can't remember what arc it was. It was post Marineford arc. So basically, the story about Luffy, Ace, and Sabo when they were young,
yeah.
right? And what was the city called? Yeah, there we go. I think it was called the Grey Terminal. Now I'm remembering it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
was like the port area of the island.
yeah. Of the island
Yeah,
that they
yeah,
were on.
yeah, yeah,
I can't remember what was the other half of the island. But I know for a fact, Grey Terminal was like you said, the poor side of the island that they were on.
yeah.
And in that situation, royalty wanted to eradicate those poor people because the Celestial Dragon was on their way. Because
Oh
obviously,
yeah, yeah, I remember
right,
that. Yeah, it's like I remember
yeah,
Sabo was like, "Oh yeah, oh it hasn't happened yet." Everyone seems to be so calm, and then he
yeah,
overhears some little girls. Oh, did you remember, mom and dad? Did you remember seeing the fireworks? Yeah, yeah, and
yeah,
then, yeah, it was very wonderful. Now we don't have to see that ugly sight anymore. And Sabo was like, "Huh? What the hell happened here?" I remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So now listen to this. So Grey Terminal, the king of that island, paid
yeah,
a pirate called Blue Jam, paid
yeah. I remember the
him
name.
to then the burned the Grey Terminal and everyone inside it, and
Yeah,
then promised Blue Jam and his pirates access into the city. Now,
but
what do you think happened when Blue Jam burned the Grey Terminal? Obviously, those people that were on the island were able to escape because of Dragon. So Dragon came and saved them and said, "Listen, if you wanna come with us, just know that once you come with us, you're gonna be part of the revolution." And they were like, "Yeah, if it means surviving, then we're gonna become a revolution, because this world as we know it is twisted, it's evil, no good thing comes
yeah,
out of it." So they've escaped, but Blue Jam burnt the burned out, like literally set the whole Grey Terminal on fire, right? So
yeah.
so what do you think happened after once he did that?
They didn't let me jam into that to the rich party, did they?
Exactly. They didn't let
Yeah.
him because they lied to him. This is why I'm saying it. Why I believe, in some sense, royalty. If there's a level above another level, let's just say, if, like you said, if I'm royalty and you're a celestial dragon, and you've promised me something, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Best believe the chances are it's not going to happen, because in this series there's a lot of lies, false, false telling. It's just things that they're promised won't actually happen. if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mm. So in this case, I feel like King Bakuri, I feel, is like you said and you stated, has been well, that's our theory, has been promised to become a celestial dragon. So
Yeah.
what he's doing is trying to pay his way to become, so take as much money as he possibly can to become a celestial dragon. But obviously that's our guess. You know, we can't be
Yeah.
too sure because you know how Oda just goes around and just does a complete 360 and we end up being wrong. But hey, that's what theories are for, you know. And
Yeah.
and yeah, it's pretty fun trying to figure them out. Now, on as you were saying, as we move forward, you want to go about this with the Kumachi situation? Well, sorry, Kuma situation. Why am I calling him Kumachi? Kuma
Come on.
situation and where he,
Little, you like the old people calling it too much. Yeah,
yeah,
so like this one, this like I felt bad for man. It's like it makes like you're like as you're reading it, I was thinking like, oh, okay, that doesn't make sense. What does he do with all this pain then with the old
mm,
people? He has to inflict it somewhere, and
mm,
then all you see him, he's just like he takes a deep breath and he just takes it in, like you know how Zoro did it. I was like,
yes,
oh no, like how Zoro did it. I was like, oh no, why would you do this? And then that's why you find out why Ginny gets always like all pissed and that. I was like,
yeah,
ah, and then you like later on, like then he's like, oh, you do this every week, and then
yeah.
I and like Cuba's, oh, come on, Cuba, man, you do this every week. Like, yeah,
Of
but
course.
there's no other choice, and he because he like all that. Imagine all that pay from all those people. Imagine it goes to someone else, like
Yeah,
someone just
that's what. Yeah, so imagine he swats the paint somewhere else and someone's going about their day like dum dum dum. Yeah, it's a nice day today,
yeah,
and all of a sudden
yeah,
there's a bubble that comes out of nowhere. Pop! Oh, my head! Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just like, but he takes it in himself because he doesn't want to hurt anyone else, and that's why I
yeah,
respect Kuma. And this is why Kuma respects Zoro because now you understand why Thriller bot like it all start the dots are starting to connect. You know, because
yeah,
it's like Luffy had so much pain. And Kuma was thinking, who's gonna take this pain? No one's loyal enough to take this amount of pain, and then he's witnessed Zoro just take his captains full on head first, go in, take it all in, and then as Kuma left the island, which was Thriller Bark, he was stating in this saying to himself that basically Dragon which is Luffy's father, found
yeah,
some loyal friends that were able to pretty much do anything for him. They would actually die for him.
yeah,
So now we're seeing that reason why Kuma respects Zoro so much is because of what Kuma went through back in the day.
yeah.
And obviously, yeah, and Ginny, well, you know,
Yeah, Jimmy's all crying and I was like, oh man, you do this every week. Why do you do this for? It's like, you know, it's like that's why she's annoyed by the old people. But the thing is, I bet like even like would they, like I don't think the old people would care or they just he just doesn't want to tell them, innit?
do you know what it is? I feel like if the old people found out, they wouldn't come to Kuma. If they ever found out what Kuma was doing with all that pain that he was taking away from them, I
Yeah,
don't think they would visit him because they know Kuma as a nice person, is a nice guy. He's the pastor of the church. He takes care of all of them. He looks after them. If they found out he was, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, hurting himself, like internally, just hurting himself from all the pain that he's been absorbing from the elderly, they wouldn't
yeah.
come see him. Legit, I don't think they would come see him. You know, they aren't that type of people. You know, we fast forward now. A couple of years have gone by. As you can see,
Yeah,
Kuma's what 22 and Ginny's 25,
yeah.
and she's like she wants to get married to Kuma, but as the pastor, you know, Kuma's answer was always going to be,
And,
yeah, you know, because it's like, you know, in the religious pastors, they
it's
don't
not
they
even
don't
that.
get
It's just
married.
like that part, and then the fact that it's like because of what happened to him in the past as well. It's like I don't want the same thing to
Oh
happen to you.
yeah, 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 yes, with his parents, isn't it? Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
his dad who was a buccaneer married a regular
Woman,
woman,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then that
and
if
then
that
because
happened
of it,
to If they got married,
Mm,
if he married Ginny and they had a kid, it would be like, you know what I mean? He's just afraid of
mm,
what might happen, isn't it? And then he just changes the
mm,
subject. He just doesn't want to talk about it. He's, oh, look, he talks
yeah,
about the freedom fighters, which is
yeah,
what Dragon and that.
dragon,
You know what
yeah.
I noticed about Dragon as well? He doesn't have this tattoo.
Yeah. Remember, this
Yeah,
is a young dragon, so we can only find out what
yeah,
happens in the future. You know,
yeah,
while he's reading the situation about the government issuing the warrant for Dragon, at the same time, I feel there are people in the guys. I think that Ginny and Kuma and Ginny's friends.
yeah,
Well, they end up like confessing their feelings for Ginny. Obviously,
yeah,
Kuma's like, you know what? Go for it. Ginny's just like she's annoyed because she doesn't want them. She'd rather prefer Kuma.
yeah,
You know, obviously they bring food for them and all sorts. But it's like it's this moment which is a good feel moment basically. You know,
yeah. But
but
then
then obviously
that doesn't last long, does it?
yeah, it doesn't. Nothing in One
Yeah,
Piece ever lasts long. It seems like the elderly people they've been kidnapped.
yeah,
You know, by it seems like this was an order by King Bakori
yeah,
uh, about enslaving every single one of them, which was from the I believe they said from the southern city which is where Kuma's pretty much from. Yeah, it's
yeah,
from the southern city.
yeah.
You
Because
know.
basically he split the island in half, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. So one half is like the royal city and stuff like that, and the
And the
other
other
half
half
is like the
is the
lawless
poor.
area. So they could
Yeah.
do anything could do like any crime could happen there. So they're like, oh, so these like I'm guessing the bandits or something called pirates.
No, I don't think they're bandits. You know, I feel like they're the kingdom's army. I feel like King Bakuri must have sent them because this is for me personally. I don't think it's a lawless area. I think it's just the poor side, the one that the king Bakuri doesn't
Oh
want to
yeah, I
associate
think you're right
himself with.
because you get a
Yeah,
flashback. Is like I think it's one of them talking to the kings that Your Majesty. I must admit that this policy is going over poorly with the people in the realm. So I think it must be him talking to
yeah.
the king. But then the king's like, ah, don't worry about it. They'll be led. They'll be soon led astray by labels and look down their noses at the south.
Mm. So obviously, at that moment where Kuma's fighting back,
Yeah,
because once the island's been split, like you said, in half. Yeah, like
yeah,
you said, it's a lawless area. So pretty much, yeah, anything can go on in there. But at the same time, I feel like because Kuma's there, he's pretty. It's guaranteed. I can't say it's guaranteed that he's gonna protect everyone in the lawless area,
yeah.
but
Because
he's there,
yeah,
so
yeah, he's there.
he's
He
able
went to
to.
prison as well.
Yeah, he went to
In
prison,
prison,
and it's not even just that. He didn't just go to prison. Ginny went to prison because Ginny
and
and the
the
guys went to
other,
prison because they
yeah,
wanted to get Kuma back. But
yeah,
obviously, I don't think Kuma was a fan of that idea, because he'd never want anything to happen to Ginny or to his friends, But obviously, they got beaten, and as you said, they've all been sent to the prison. Um, but at the same time, that's when you realize that Kuma's. That's when Kuma realizes that there's so
yeah,
much wrong with the world.
yeah.
Like, it's corrupt, it's poison. Leaders are able to what's the word I'm looking for? It's in the back of my head.
They can do whatever they want.
Let's just yeah,
They're abused with
abuse.
their power. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. They abuse their power, you know. But then, as we go forward, we find out that Dragon and his army, his revolutionary army, come in, save every
yeah.
single one of those people to to to
I
to
like
to
this. I
dethrone.
like this. Yeah, I like this line that Ivan Cough says. You won't escape. You're a sad imitation of the celestial dragon. I was laughing like, yo, this guy
That's what
must
I'm
be.
saying exactly, and this is why you saying that puts like my perspective as to why I think King Bokori's like continuously taking money from the poor. It's because I feel like one day he wants to buy himself into the celestial dragons, because maybe, like you said, he's been promised to become a celestial dragon himself. So for Ivankov to say that is why I came up with that theory in the first place. But Dragon and the Revolutionary Army, they come in, they dethrone King Bakuri. They save what seems to be the island. Yeah, they save the island. Sorry. They've caused so much situations, and you know what the crazy part is? They've started this, right? Mind you, the Revolutionary Army. It seems like the Revolutionary Army, they're known as the Freedom Fighters,
Yeah, but then they
established
changed into the
themselves.
army. Yeah.
Yeah, but guess when they established themselves? Is
It
when
was a
the Great Pirate Dawn started, which was when Goldie Rogers' death happened, and the O'Hara tragedy. The O'Hara situation when Nico Robin and
yeah,
all.
yeah,
Yeah, when that happened, and from that moment, I feel that's when they said to themselves, "Yeah, this world is corrupt. They need people to actually save, because we know dragons come from the Marines,
yeah.
right?
He left
He's
the
probably
he left the
seen,
navy,
yeah,
didn't he? Yeah,
right. He's probably seen things where he said to himself, "This is corrupt as excuse my language, but this is corrupt as fuck." Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
He's just like, I can't do this no more. So he's left, and now reading about the world, seeing what's happening around the world, he's thinking to himself, the Marines aren't the good guys. We was never the good guys. They don't care. Loads of lives are being lost. People are being enslaved. The world government and the celestial dragons are doing whatever they want. So it's up to me to create an army to stop this from happening and save those who need to be saved. Thus, the Revolutionary Army is born.
yeah.
But you know, like you know, like all things, there's no good endings.
Yeah.
There's
But
there's never a good ending.
like when Cuba goes back to his island, like
Mm,
Ginny's somewhere else, isn't she? So
yeah,
on a
you know.
certain country, and then like
Another 8 years have passed as well.
yeah,
I feel like when Kuma went back to the island, I feel like Ginny still stuck around with I'm sorry, not excuse me. She still stuck around with the Revolutionary Army, and
yeah,
that's why it pretty much happened the way it did. You know, like I mean, this was bound to happen. Her getting kidnapped. There was a lot of theories that it was gonna happen, but
yeah. But that's the that's
'cause
the that's another case though. Did she have a kid back then?
you're gonna
Or
listen. The reason why I can't speak about this is, like I told you earlier on,
yeah.
is because when you read the next chapter, you're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
realize,
you read the synopsis bit basically. Okay, don't tell me.
yeah,
We'll discuss
yeah,
it. We'll
no,
discuss it in
we'll discuss it
the
in the next one.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
so much, yeah. So you're gonna understand where the problem is who kidnapped her, because we see footsteps. We see, well, sorry, we don't see footsteps, mind you. We see a silhouette figure. It looks
yeah,
like they're approaching Ginny. Whoever
yeah.
it was kidnapped her, and from that moment, all hell broke loose. Because in the next page, Dragon has to apologize to Kuma that
Shit.
Ginny's been captured, and it's so sad, because it's like, I do believe that if anything, Kuma was there, I don't
Yeah,
think this would have happened. Because
damn.
Ginny's going to be staying by Kuma's side. For look, he wouldn't his eyes wouldn't let go of Ginny. That's all I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
he would protect her as much as he can, and in some way, I do believe that Dragon. I think he failed. Like, I'll be
Oh, okay.
real from
But it's
this.
just,
Yeah,
are you talking about what like this stuff's gonna happen in the next chapter? Or
no, no, no. I'm talking about, like, genuinely, you could say, yeah, and I'm talking about now, but I'm talking about like how it leads into the next. I'm not talking about the next chapter, but I'm talking
okay,
about how he failed and how it is. In the next chapter, where we talk about how it leads into the situation that they went through. But right now, as of right now, he wasn't able to protect Ginny. And because he wasn't able to protect Ginny, I feel like he failed. You know what the funny thing is though, Yasin? Notice this. You know at the end of the panel, yeah? The last
Yeah.
panel at the end of the page, he's got that tattoo on his face. So how many years
Yeah.
has gone? How many years has gone by? Because it's stated in when Kuma went back to his island, it was another 8 years that have passed, and then
And then it
40,
says
and then
14 years ago in a certain
which is
country.
which is kind of in the timeline. It's kind of confusing. So like, is it something where you add or you minus? I'm not too sure about
We're
it.
not good at math. We're not good at
Yeah.
math.
Do you know what I mean? It's still kind
Yeah.
of all over the place, you know. But at the same time, I'm thinking, whatever happened, this
Can't be good.
happened 14 years before. Let's just say 14 years prior before the current timeline. So that's my guess.
Yeah.
So my guess is, another couple of years had. So put it this way, another couple of years was added when Ginny asked Kuma she wanted to that she wanted to get married with him. Obviously, that was
Yeah.
shut down by Kuma. Then we get to a point where Kuma's trying to save the civilians, and then things go wrong because he gets arrested, sent to prison with Ginny and the guys. Then they join the Freedom Fighters, which is the Revolutionary Army. 8 years go by because he's gone back to his island, and then
Yeah. It says
as 8
14
years
years
go
ago.
by, 14 years. So I'm thinking that's 14 years prior to the present time. So that's the starting point as to when 14 years is the starting point as to when Kuma went back to the island to where we are right now in the current time of One Piece.
Yeah.
So this happened 14 years ago, which wasn't so long because as you can see, Luffy's 17 years of age, right? Well, no, sorry, he's 19 now in
He's
the time
19.
skip.
He's 19. Yeah, yeah.
So,
After time skip, he's 19.
yeah,
Yeah.
so he would have been when this happened, when Jimmy got captured, he would have been 5 years old.
So Jagged had his kid. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking. He would have been 5 years old when this situation had happened.
Yeah.
And that explains why the tattoo around on his face came out of nowhere. But the problem is, it doesn't explain why the tattoo on his face came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
But
because
again,
he doesn't have that tattoo there.
exactly, because I
But
feel
when
like he was young then, but now he's getting older. Years are it's starting to go by. And we're
yeah,
starting to pick up, and we're starting to get closer towards the present time.
yeah,
So, but again, like I said, I believe that he failed in protecting someone that Kuma cared so much about.
yeah,
And it hurts because it's like Ginny's such a lovable character,
yeah,
especially after what she. And do you know what? Yes, and I'll be real. It was bound to happen. She was, for me personally, I feel like she was bound to be the target after what she did in the last chapter.
yeah. I want to find out, and when we do find out, we talk about it the next episode. But
No,
yeah, man.
because I'm saying this in a sense of because you don't just take two of the biggest named devil fruits, and then set a radio signal to call every single pirate out there that
To
there's
come, yeah,
to come, and then it causes a havoc, chaos,
yeah,
madness on the island to the point that the island had to be to disappear. The story
yeah,
was shut down, so no one knew about it. Eventually, whoever was there was just like, we need to go after this person because she's the reason why this happened the way it did. So we're gonna
yeah,
make she made it tough for us. We're gonna make her life a misery. So let's go kidnap her. And as you can see, she's been kidnapped, and
mm,
you know we're led to this point where it's deep because it's like, as I said, like Kuma and Ginny they were really close,
yeah,
and it's sad to see where it's ended. Well, where it's gone to.
yeah. But uh, but that's the end of the chapter.
So it's like it kind of, I wouldn't say it was a slow chapter, but it kind of like died down after the madness of the last
Yeah,
chapter.
like I said, it wasn't a hype chapter, but yeah, it was more of like
Yeah,
a law
yeah.
based chapter. It's more of like an aftermath law based type chapter. I get to
Mhm.
find out more about Kuma and Ginny, and then you get to see when they join the Revolutionary. Yeah, so it wasn't that thing. But yeah, next chapter, like if you're saying is as thingy as big as it is, then yeah, I can't wait to read the next chapter. But
But yeah,
but yeah,
it's been a good one. You know, we're
it's
definitely
been a
gonna do
good
some more in the
episode.
future.
Yeah, can't wait to read that. But yeah, like I said, like I always say every episode, at the end of the episode, you know how it is. If you do enjoy listening to us, please consider
Subscribe.
liking and subscribing. Yeah, like and subscribing, and even share it with your friends. You know what I mean? It will mean a lot. But even
Mhm.
and like if you having even if you have thoughts of your own, comment down below. Let us know what you think. You know what I mean? What theories you have. Yeah, it'd be nice to engage with you guys. You know.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
until next time.
Till next time, man. Bye.
Yeah.